same
Not at all,
way.
but you can. All right, Ben, thanks.
Appreciate all your help and work.
Good to see you. Thanks, Ben. We appreciate yours. You know, is legal necessary? I don't know that it is, because in that budget that he or she presents, he could have some money for legal counsel, to hire lawyers to advise him on certain things. Because remember, he's going to invest, like a law enforcement agency, he's going to take his investigative results, if he or she believes that they've got a case, to the state attorney, and the state attorney will be the prosecuting decision, just as he is with everything else.
I think the fear of most people is you just don't want to hire a bunch of attorneys. So, in other words,
I don't think you're going to see that happen.
You're not going to get the investigation that you really need. The information, to me, it appears to be a detective story.
I think.
And so the kind of folks you're going to be hiring in the background, who are they? What, like, do y'all know? Do you decide for him, or does it's up to him?
Yeah, I think you're right on the money. I think we all recognize that. Let me repeat again. Better than legal skills would be forensic auditing and internal auditing skills, perhaps law enforcement background, a combination of those, and throw some legal knowledge on top of it, and you might build an ideal candidate. Plus a candidate who's aggressive, but not a headhunter. Recognizing that person is going to be in an office which is going to have a lot of notoriety, certainly to begin with, right? It's going to be a media feeding frenzy in some respects. So he or she has got to be able to project a nice image, to be able to deal with the media, and to not be, but yet not to become a media pawn and a showboat. Those things we can't tell from applications. That's going to come from our best guess after we interview people face to face.
Yeah, I'm not interested in the top jobs. I wouldn't be qualified for the top job. But what I'm interested in is the surrounding, the folks that are going to be, the folks that are going to be surrounding this.
That's a decision that would be made by the person whom we appoint by him or her. Correct.
Well, thank you.
Nice chat with you. Your name?
Yes, Gary Plant.
Gary Phil Shailer.
Phil, nice to meet you.
And how would you rate the relative power of this job in the structure?
Powers of I think authority is a better word. By the charter gives him or her authority to conduct investigations to the same extent that the state attorney has the authority. Because it accords the inspector general, the charter does the subpoena power, which is a very important investigative tool and weapon. But ultimately, as I said before, as I was mentioning to this gentleman, those cases will be turned over, will be presented to the U.S. attorney if it's a federal matter, or to Mike Satz if it's a state matter.
They'll be able to compel witnesses to come give statements.
Be able to compel witnesses. And then there's a certain category of cases which don't come to the criminal side, but which may constitute violations, administrative violations. And those the Inspector General will bring by herself or himself in front of a hearing officer. And hearing officers are appointed by our committee also.
And you guys appoint this person?
Yes.
And
we don't budget, though.
This commission can't fire this person?
Correct. This person gets, under the charter, once we appoint the person, it's a 4-year, he or she gets a 4-year contract. Prior to the end of those 4 years, if that person wants reappointment, then it's up to us to decide whether he or she gets reappointed.
And now that the ethics code's been spread and the IG office duties have been spread to all the cities, this person will be looking out over the 9 county commissioners as well as all the electeds in all 31 cities.
As well as every city in Broward County.
And also the government employees, correct? Because that was added in there too.
Certainly in a, yes, yeah, you don't think, that's right.
And then they also threw in vendors.
Well, that's a critically important part of it, because effectively that the person who provides goods and services to the county or to a city, by doing so, submits itself to the jurisdiction, if you will, of the Inspector General. They're already submitted to the state attorney's inspection power.
But so they would be able to subpoena a company and say, I need to see these records or
so it's a very broad, in that respect, it has the same powers that the state attorney has.
But they'll have a whole staff at their I mean, it'll be like having a state attorney just focus on elected.
You would assume that the person might, assuming the person has a substantial accounting background herself or himself, probably going to have a couple of lawyers on a retainer or maybe on a piecemeal to advise. Going to have a staff of investigators who are going to be law enforcement. Law enforcement.
Where will they be housed?
Former people have no idea. That'll be up to that's up to the commission.
Yeah. This is going to be a very busy person.
I think so. I think it will be. And as I say, I think the person is going to be spending a lot of time getting the press comfortable, if you will, with the person.
Well, it's high expectations, probably.
Absolutely, sure. Yeah.
Okay.